Hey football fans, I'm Matt. I'm joined by my friend Johnny, and we're here to keep you guys updated on everything NFL related, from scores to predictions. This is the Third and Long podcast on KCAT Radio. Welcome into the Third and Long podcast. Got a great show for you guys. It was a great week of football. My name is Matt.
And I'm Johnny. First off, we started off the week, Ravens-Patriots. Big game, right? I mean, Lamar Jackson working magic like he always does.
I feel like it's expected. I expected the Patriots and Bill Belichick to draw a way better scheme. And in looking at like the week and how the Patriots are shaping up, I expected better, kind of.
Yeah, but dude, Mac Jones is out possibly for the season. He might have to get surgery on that high ankle sprain.
Yeah, I mean,
but at the same time, it's Mac Jones. He's not going to be the next coming of Tom Brady. They lost 37-26. It's kind of, I think they put up more points than I would have expected.
Yeah, I expected less than 26, but I did expect Belichick to hold the Ravens to under 37, which was a little confusing. But I mean, in turn, Lamar Jackson just became Lamar Jackson and kind of evolved into it. Next game coming up, 24-8 Eagles Commanders.
I mean, they're playing the Commanders. There's not much that you can expect. 8 points in the fourth quarter is kind of a shock. Not something that we, think is going to happen.
Yeah, I expected more out of Jalen Hurts. He only put up, they had a big second quarter right before the half, but I expected a little more throughout the game, and I feel like against better defenses, the Commanders don't have a great defense.
Well, both teams only scored in one quarter. The Eagles only scored in the second quarter, and then the Commanders only scored in the eighth quarter. It just...
Yeah. I expected a little better from Jalen Hurts throughout the game. It felt like he kind of came alive and then subdued. But honestly, I think we have to wait till week 5 when the Eagles play Arizona. I think that'll be the first. Well, actually, they're playing Jacksonville in week 4.
They are.
I don't know. Do we count that as a top tier game or no?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Why?
I don't see it. I don't see that it's going to be a giant game.
Sure. I respect that.
Chiefs Colts. It was pretty much what you'd expect. The Colts did better than I thought they would, though.
I'm very confused what you mean better than you expect. I expected the Chiefs to obliterate this game. They lost 20-17. Patrick Mahomes did not look too happy. I expected way better.
You know the Chiefs just have those games. It happens.
Sure, it's kind of like the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. You kind of expect them to have one. That's kind of a lot of these games. And I was coming into the show expecting to talk about all these, the league is changing. No, a lot of teams had fluke weeks. And I'm okay with it. And I think it's kind of how it's going to end up being. And I don't expect everyone to be good every week. I really expected the Colts to lose this game, though. If you're Patrick Mahomes, you cannot put up 0 in the fourth quarter.
It's just not a thing that can happen. You're Patrick Mahomes is supposed to be the next Tom Brady, and we're slowly starting to see that slip away
I hate
from
that
him.
comparison.
It's a horrible comparison.
It's a horrible comparison.
Well, they're two completely different players, but you know that they just mean goat to goat. It's just
fair enough.
The passing of the torch.
Sure. Let's see how his career lays out before you call him the GOAT. I never want to talk about it.
Oh, no. I'm not calling him the GOAT. I'm just saying that was kind of the expectation.
I see what you're saying. We expected him to be up here, and
he's starting to fall.
Sure. Let's see how the weeks go. I like that. Texans Bears 23-20. I don't know what to think about the Bears anymore. Justin Fields still is so unlikable in my mind.
You have no idea how happy this game makes me.
Why?
Because I hate the Bears. Look, hold on, Matt. I am the biggest Packers fan, all right? I am a huge Packers fan. So seeing the Bears fall, is just fantastic. I love it.
I mean, honestly, their fall over the season's crazy more than anything. They're just steadily declining. Sure, they'll get wins here and there, but I don't expect them to excel. Yeah. I will never expect them to excel. I think they finished under 500, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not great.
Yeah, fair enough.
But even better game, Bengals Jets. It went against what we thought was going to happen, but it's still not great.
So we talk about those fluke games too. A lot of these last 2 weeks have just been fluke games. We talk about them. This was easily one of them. We expected the Jets to ride the Joe Flacco train into just greatness.
W-town. Exactly. We thought they were going to take it.
It didn't. I expected better. 27-12 is definitely I expected the Bengals to be closer if they were going to win, but they did. They somehow did it. I don't even know how. I did not expect Joe Burrow to put up 27 points.
Oh, absolutely not. It's not something that you think you're going to see, especially with how they played those first 2 weeks. It was horrible.
Granted, I put that as a win in their preseason projection. I had them winning that game. So they matched my projection, but I think we counted the Jets too high and made the Bengals too low. I think we need to even that out a little bit. I think our
think
odds
so.
were
I
a
think
little
that's
low.
pretty
Sure.
accurate.
Yeah. Raiders Titans. Raiders are now 0-3, 24-22.
They lost to the Titans 24-22. That's just, it's mind blowing.
You remember what I said last week though? If Derrick Henry's inside the 20, we sort of expect him to be good. This was that game. I think he was very good inside the red zone. He was good at kind of getting yards per carry, yards after contact. I think that's the only reason the Raiders are 0-3 right now.
It's really sad to see what's happening to that team. They had like such high expectations. You were right. Their defense is very overrated.
Defense is overrated. I think I love Devontae Adams, elite receiver. The influence one receiver can have on a whole team, I think, was overhyped.
I completely agree with that.
Okay,
and
thank you.
Hold on. Do you think Devontae Adams misses Green Bay?
Yeah. I think the running back duo in Green Bay is excelling more than they did last year. I honestly think Green Bay's in a better spot to win now than before. They relied on Devontae a lot. You got a good corner, and I think the running back duo wasn't as successful.
But at the same time, Devontae is Devontae. Sure. He's going to work magic. A team with him is going to be better than a team without him.
I agree.
And speaking of Green Bay, we had Green Bay and Tampa this week.
I expected this game to be more exciting, but I forgot how good their defenses are.
The defenses, it was definitely a defensive game.
Sure.
The Packers take it 14-12. It's
Tom Brady's a crybaby.
Oh, for sure.
You know how much I hate Tom. I've hated Tom Brady since the Peyton Manning days when the AFC matchup was the Broncos and the Patriots, who was going to the Super Bowl. I hated Tom Brady since then. I don't like him now, and even in the past year, I've grown to like him more with the Bucs and kind of just what he's doing with that team. And then he does something like this. He throws iPads. He cries like a baby. He just looks old and bad. And I just go back to this state where it brings me back to just this hate.
Well, did you see him slide and that knee brace just twisted all weird? And he had to that was
because he's an old man. He it's less of a slide and more of
no, it was a slide.
Bend down.
It was
to
a slide.
Okay,
but
you can call it a slide.
It was a slide.
I think I'm just in an aggravated mood today. My favorite game of the week, and you know what it is. Broncos 49ers. We pulled one out 11-10. My heart's I don't know how to feel about this. How do you feel?
You know, it was probably one of the worst games of the week.
Oh, it was boring. It was so awful.
Horrible.
It was horrible.
Nothing happened.
We won.
Hold on. So it was a fun game, but it wasn't entertaining to watch. That's the whole thing about football. It has to be entertaining. And when you have a game like that where it's just back and forth, low scoring, you're not going to get an interesting game out of it.
I want to say something really quick. Congratulations, Dan Orlovsky. You are free, my friend. Instead of just running out of the end zone, Jimmy Garoppolo ran out of the end zone and threw a pick six in the same play. Scratch that on your bingo card for the NFL season. Congratulations. I would have never expected that. Is this all Garoppolo's fault? I'm curious because I heard a lot of conflicting opinions.
I don't think it is. I think that it was just one of those games.
Also, if your fantasy league played with punters this week, congratulations if you had the Broncos or the Niners punter. The Broncos punted 10 times.
10 times.
Punted 10 times.
That is ridiculous.
And they won. It's depressingly bad, yet by the same token, a win's a win. And it kept us from being 0-3. I say us because, my beautiful jersey and hat. I love my Broncos to death. And I'm happy that we won. By the same token, next week, we have to win. Because if we don't, I'm going to be kind of sad.
All right. Saints Panthers. That game surprised me. Panthers come away with a win, 22-14.
I feel like I expect the Panthers to be okay. I like their offense a decent amount. Christian McCaffrey isn't out yet, so I definitely
he'll be gone soon. Don't worry.
I have my hope for the Panthers, but I don't love the Saints. I like Winston a little bit. I haven't heard anything about Michael Thomas yet. That surprised me.
He's been doing good.
But he's not playing at he wasn't playing at that wide receiver one level we expect from him from prior seasons from 2019.
Well, he's also not the same receiver. He doesn't have Drew Brees passing him the football.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. I like how Winston's moving the ball around, but honestly, I feel like you can't put up zeros.
You can't put up 3 scoreless quarters.
Granted, I like the 14 in the fourth. I respect that. The late comeback push is good.
It was a good effort.
Yeah, it's just the fact that you can't go You can't go 3 quarters with no score. That is not going to win football games, and especially the Saints. Bills, maybe. Maybe you can do that, make some magic in the fourth quarter. If you're not a high-caliber offensive team with a great defense, you can't do it and expect to make leaps and bounds coming back.
I think that the Saints defense used to be really good, right? They used to have all these guys. Cam Jordan, I don't know. He's getting old.
Yeah, but by the same token, that's kind of a matchup I expect they're going to have it one more time in the year. I don't expect it to be any better. I don't expect either of those teams to be playoff teams. This is a rebuilding year. I put it in quotes because I don't know what either of them are doing with their team.
Neither of the teams are really ready for a playoff shot either. I don't think Jameis Winston can take anybody to a Super Bowl. I don't think that an offense led by Baker Mayfield can go to the Super Bowl anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
Not to mention their offensive coordinator is horrible.
Speaking of offensive coordinators and playoff ready hopes and Super Bowl hopes, 38-10, the Jaguars beat the Chargers.
We had a hurt Justin Herbert.
Okay,
that changes things a little bit.
Okay,
your pick for MVP.
My pick for MVP. I'm still sticking with that, even though those odds have gone atrociously down. Are the Jaguars better than we put them at the start of the season?
I think so.
I think so too. I don't know why though. This is the thing. I was looking back at the stats and I'm like, it's a pretty average stat. Like Trevor Lawrence played really well, but given his college days at Clemson, we expect him to still be like a pretty good quarterback.
We expected him to be better than he was. I think right out the gate, we expected him to be way better than he was. He's slowly starting to meet the expectation. He's not quite there yet.
I agree.
And with a team like the Jags, I mean, it's one of those teams where you never really know what's going to happen throughout the season. They just signed Christian Kirk for a huge contract deal. So that's obviously going to help out their offense with moving the ball. They got some good players.
I'm excited. I'm not overly excited. I'm trying not to do what I do with other teams where I'm like, they're the second coming of Jesus. Like, let's see how the next weeks go. If they manage to beat the Eagles next week, it's a slightly different story.
Yeah.
Another division matchup, Steelers-Browns, 29-17.
I didn't think that the Browns were going to take it, but it's, like I said, it's one of those
So we talked about it in the first podcast. I want to bring it up again. Jacoby Brissett, do you pull him when Deshaun comes back?
I think you give Deshaun a shot. I think you do a game kind of like the preseason where you let one player start, one player finish, see where it goes.
I like that. Other than that, the Steelers don't look awesome. I don't love how they're looking.
Tomlin is saying that he is in no mood to change quarterbacks. So
yeah, I like that from a veteran coach too. I like that he's putting confidence. Also, you can say that and then change to tiny hands next week.
I think it's tiny hands time.
It is tiny hands time. I totally agree.
And then another division matchup, we had the Cowboys Giants, with the Giants losing, but it was way closer than anybody thought it was going to be.
I feel like I don't like Danny Dimes.
Nobody likes Danny Dimes. Not even Giants fans like Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes doesn't like Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes is no longer Danny Dimes.
How many times can we say Danny Dimes in one podcast?
It's Danny Dollars. He's not dropping dimes anymore. The Cowboys win 23-16. I think that that offense is pretty expandable. There's a lot that you can take out of it and put into it. Tony Pollard and Zeke are a pretty good running back duo.
Yeah.
Zeke's definitely on the back half of his career, but he looked explosive and he played great.
Yeah, but by the same, like, I want to see more. I want to look back at this week 6 and kind of reflect and say, like, are we really there to call the Cowboys like a playoff team even? Let's reflect. I want to get back to this in coming weeks.
We'll look at it. We'll look at it later. We're going to see where they're at.
I agree. I liked week 3.
Week 3 was good.
It was a fun week.
But Rams and Cardinals, it went the exact opposite way that I expected it to. The Rams take it 20-12. I was talking about how the Cardinals were going to make a comeback. I
said it last week. I mentioned if Matt Stafford can play up to a pretty good caliber and their defense can get some stops, they're going to beat Kyler. I liked it.
It was a good game.
Yes.
I like to see Kyler Murray succeed though, because then you get a fun performance the next week.
That's true. That's going to be a good division matchup later too. I'm excited to see when the Niners play one of these teams and we kind of get that like contrast a little bit. But I like it. I liked the depth we got in week 3. It kind of adds to the NFL storyline in a way.
It definitely does, and it's going to be really sad to see Kyler go on that decline once the new Call of Duty comes out, because. You remember how with his new contract signing, part of his thing was that he had to have a certain amount of film study per night.
Yeah,
it's because he plays too much Call of Duty.
I agree. I agree. I'm excited to see how it fluctuates.
Oh,
I think
for sure. It's going to be really, really interesting to watch.
Yeah. coming off of that, let's get some more opinions.
We still have some more. Falcons and Seahawks, 27-23. Falcons beat the Seahawks.
There's a reason I tried avoiding this game.
Nope.
It's so
you
boring.
can't avoid it. It was a horrible game, and there's not much more to say about it. It was just it wasn't. Well, it could have gone either way. We'll be honest.
Both these teams.
It could have gone either way, but the best game of the week was by far the Bills Dolphins. The best game of the week.
Yeah.
Right. Dolphins end up winning 21-19.
Yeah.
The Dolphins look like they could be Super Bowl contenders. Right. We talked about it last week.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
This game would show if they could make it.
Is this the AFC Championship?
I think it might be. It's a great matchup, and I love to see Josh Allen really get tested.
Yeah, I definitely like Tua more than my like for Tua is slowly increasing over the weeks. What I don't like about the Dolphins is the unpredictable nature. It feels like in certain times in the game, it's shaky.
It's like that with any team though. You get you have momentum, it gets killed, and then you're stuck for a minute. You're stuck in a ditch. You got to get out. You have to climb the mountain.
I like that phrase, the climb the mountain. I like it.
You have to. And then closing out the week, last game that we're gonna go over: Lions-Vikings. Lions lose to the Vikings by 4 points. 4 points.
I have faith in Dan Campbell.
I think that they're gonna do something this year.
No, yeah. I like Hutch. I like Aiden Hutchinson. I like him a lot. He's so explosive. It's just everything they said about it in college is so true. It's just the consistent explosive nature. And I really like the Lions. I really like what they're doing. I like their defense a little less. It's a little shaky, but they have the upside potential. When
I watch him, it looks like I'm watching like a D-line user in Madden. He breaks through the line every time.
Yeah,
he's a great player, and I like him as a person a lot too. I think that he's gonna have
he's a fun guy.
Great career.
I like the running back duo too. Yep, they're fun people. It's a fun team. I'm excited to see the explosiveness. Vikings are consistently boring me despite the winning.
I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. My favorite section.
Oh yeah.
We got some hot takes for our viewers today. We have some fun, opinionated things. Let's pick our brains of football. Give me one, Johnny.
All right, Matt. Do you think the Vikings are going to be a playoff team this year?
No.
No, why is that? What makes you say no so quickly on the Vikings?
I don't love Dalvin Cook. He's explosive. He's injury prone. I don't like that he can't be used to his full potential, and especially even last year, he gets injured, he comes back, and he never really explodes. Sure, he had that one brace game where he decided to pop off, but it's like he comes back timid, it feels like. I don't love their backup too. I don't love Mattson.
I think that people saying that Dalvin Cook is better than Aaron Jones, I think that's
it's wrong. I don't like it.
Wrong. I love Aaron Jones. He's the man. The maniac in Green Bay.
Yeah. I don't think they're a playoff team. What do you think?
I think it's possible. I think that if Kirk Cousins can stay consistent with his throwing, and if his wide receiver core can stay healthy throughout the season, I think that it's a possibility. I'm not saying that it's a for sure go.
Okay.
I'm saying it's a possibility.
But in the I feel like in the NFC, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head that you'd switch, that you'd put them instead of the Vikings at the moment. Maybe the Lions, maybe. And then you have to look at the NFC West as people who would fill in wild card spots because they're not winning the division.
Yeah.
We're not talking about them being division leaders right now, right? Please tell me you're not thinking.
No.
Okay.
I think that the division leadings are going to change. I think that it's going to go Packers, Lions, Vikings, Bears.
You're so fake. You're starting your season.
I know. My opinion's all over the place. It's changing, but I like what I'm seeing from the Lions, and I think that they could beat out the Vikings for the season.
Yeah, I like that. Let's hear this.
Telling me I'm fake.
The Raiders' coaching is the issue. Are they the reason they're 0-3?
No.
Why?
It's Derek Carr.
But how?
It's Derek Carr.
How?
You see him throwing those risky passes. You see him doing all these things, right?
Sure.
Right. Devontae Adams said, "Oh, it's like going from one MVP quarterback to the next," but it's really not. Right? If you put Derek Carr in Green Bay right now, I guarantee you that team would have a losing record.
Sure.
The wide receiver core isn't good enough to make up for bad quarterback play, is what I'm saying. If he didn't have Devontae Adams, it would be a way different season for them.
I agree.
And it's the same thing with Hunter Renfrow. Yeah. I think that he's gone unnoticed for a really long time, and with Devontae Adams being brought in, he's just going to go under the radar, and he's going to turn into a Cole Beasley type guy.
I want to look at week 4 real quick. I want to look at the next.
Before we go into that,
step?
I have some sad news.
What's some sad news?
Clay Matthews retired today.
Sure. Why?
He hasn't been in the league, I know, but Clay Matthews is the whole reason I'm a Packers fan, and it's close to my heart.
He's gone, Johnny.
He's gone.
He's gone.
He literally, quote unquote, said, "My football days are over."
He's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone. Go. He's done forever. Never. We love you, Clay Matthews. Your peak was bright, and then you had the years, but it's okay because I think he'll be a Hall of Famer. We'll see.
He will be.
We talked about it before. Jacksonville, Philadelphia. Is this a blowout game that we're just way overhyping?
It could be, but at the same time, I'm excited to see what Jacksonville's going to bring to the table.
Yeah, it's one of those games where I expect something different every time I think about it.
I'm not even going to throw out a prediction of who's going to win because I really don't know. I don't have an opinion.
I have
on
the Eagles. Right, I'm making my prediction. I think the Eagles win by 10 or more, and we've overhyped Jacksonville. If it's less than 10 and the Eagles still win, I count that as a victory for Jacksonville.
I
count that as an on the come.
I like the Eagles better than the Jags, but at the same time, it's like I want to see Trevor Lawrence succeed.
Yeah.
I want to see what that team can bring to the table, and I think it's going to be a good matchup.
Yeah. Give me another pick. What do you think's going to happen?
We have Cleveland and Atlanta.
It's just another one of those games where I just expect nothing.
It's one of those games where it's just up in the air. It's up for grabs for
But
both
it doesn't
teams.
change their records surmountably. It doesn't make me happy if either win. And at the end of the day, I think it'll show how weak one team is compared to the other.
That is true.
It doesn't excite me.
There's one matchup I'm looking at right now, and it's looking real good. We have Buffalo and Baltimore.
Yeah, both two strong quarterbacks. I think that's my game of the week. You can't describe Baltimore as anything but just explosive.
I mean, you have guys like Josh Allen, right? He's a great player. The Ravens have a really strong defense, and I'm really excited to see what that is going to put up.
Yeah, I think it also comes down to how dynamic both teams want to be. If they let Josh Allen throw the entire time, I don't think it'll work. If they let Lamar run play actions and run all over the place and occasionally throw some really good passes, I don't think it'll work. It depends on how fast they can change from mobility to pocket passing and other things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun game. I mean, we had a really interesting week 3. It was a great week. Thank you guys for joining us on Third and Long on KCAT Radio. Check out our other episodes on YouTube, and we'll see you next week.